Hi everyone and welcome to another Taco Tuesday on Left Off the Map. Today I'm making fajitas with a little bit of a twist. I'm making salmon fajitas and serving them with a wholemeal tortilla. So very healthy. Anything that I think has Mexican flavors in it is tasty, but Mexican food in general is actually really healthy. So the fajita mix, the main component of fajitas is capsicum, an onion, and then a spice mix. So I've got my tri-coloured capsicums here. I've got red, green, and yellow. I'm just gonna slice them, pop them into a bowl with a sliced onion. So you can add a red onion to this if you want. I'm using a brown onion. You can add a white onion as well. So any onion you want, you can add shallots. So that's our vegetable mix. Now we're gonna put together our spice mix. Like I said, some cumin, a decent amount of cumin, so about a tablespoon of cumin, about a tablespoon of paprika, smoked paprika, about half a teaspoon of cinnamon, tablespoon of dried oregano, 1 garlic clove sliced, and then we're going to go for our sweet and sour component. So the juice of 3 limes and some palm sugar. So a block of palm sugar I'm going to grate in there. I need a pinch of salt and then some oil. And let that sit, like I said, for about half an hour, just for that mix to be able to do its thing. Limes. I always find it's better if you give the limes a roll before you cut them. This releases a lot of the juice. So that's our sour component. Our sweet component will come from that palm sugar. We've got a salty component in there just with the salt. It's nice and spicy, so there's our savoury note. So it's got everything we could possibly want. All right, so I'll grate that palm sugar in. I'll add a little bit of olive oil. Probably about the same amount of olive oil as I had lime juice. So about 1/4 cup of olive oil, and then just let it sit for half an hour. And then we'll come back and saute it off in the pan. It's been sitting for long enough now. Now, because I've put oil in there, I don't need to put any oil in the pan. I've got my pan on. So this will, the volume that's there will reduce down by about 1/4. It's already started to do so with all that dressing on it, started to collapse a little bit. So once I've got enough heat in my pan, pop that in. You're gonna cook it, fry it or saute it for about 5 minutes. That's all you need. You wanna keep the capsicum and the onion still nice and crunchy. So you don't wanna cook it too much, you don't wanna stew it. So you want your pan to be nice and hot. 5 minutes. Once that's done, we're gonna pull apart the hot smoked salmon, place that on top and just let the heat carry through. All right. All right, so let that cook away for about 5 minutes. Stirring it probably occasionally, so only a couple of times. You do want it to be able to, you don't want it to stew. So by letting it sit, you're gonna get a better result. After 5 minutes, we can turn the heat off. I'll start to prepare my salmon now. So we'll take it out. Now you don't need to get the blackened spice if you don't want to, it's just my favourite. I'll take the skin off. Our salmon is ready to go. It's nice and tender, which is perfect. So we'll give that another 4 minutes, stirring it probably halfway through, and then we're ready to put our fajitas together. added that salmon just at the end. I've turned the heat off, and the heat that's left in the pan is just warming that salmon through. So I don't want to cook the salmon. The hot smoked salmon is already cooked, so I just want to heat it through, get it slightly coated in that fajita mix. And that can come out into a bowl. I like serving fajitas in particular with some creme fraiche or some sour cream. So I've got some here. Pop it into a little bowl for people to be able to add if they want. I've prepared my tortillas so they're nice and soft. And I not only do I like the whole grain ones because they're healthy, but also I think they've just got a better taste. They've got a more, I don't know, it's a nuttier, sort of sweeter taste, I think, than the normal flour tortillas. So don't just get them because they're healthy, get them because they're tasty. And it's a matter of just building your fajita as you go. People can come up, grab an amount of the fajita mix, pop it into their tortilla, a little bit of sour cream on top or whatever sort of condiment you want, a little bit of lime juice. But the fajita mix is really, really, really simple. It's a great way of having a good protein like salmon in the fajita mix and keep it nice and healthy. And then with these whole grain tortillas, you've got a really healthy meal that's super, super tasty. Now we're off to a place with a funny name, Sugar Ant Ridge, where they make sourdough just for the community that lives around them. So you have to be there to get this great quality sourdough. So let's go and learn a little. We'll catch up with Henry.
Sure.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock.
Josh, is it?
Henry.
Good to meet you.
You too, mate.
This is the bakery.
This is the bakery. Welcome to Sugar Ant Ridge Bakery.
Awesome. May I join you?
Come
awesome,
in.
awesome.
Come in.
Nice to meet you.
You too. You too.
Wow. So this is how you do it at Sugar Ant Ridge.
This is how we do it at Sugar Ant Ridge.
Amazing. You've got a beautiful spot here.
It's great, isn't it? We love living here.
Yeah. How long have you been here to start with?
Just over 3 years on the property.
3 years.
My partner and I, we had our first child and then had our second child, and then it's time to get out of hospitality.
Yep.
So we sold up where we were in New South Wales and then came here.
Okay.
And
so a bit of a change of pace.
Change of pace, change of life, change of thinking, slow everything down as much as we can and still function and support ourselves.
Yeah, beautiful. And so you're baking now, Sugar Ant Bakery.
Yep.
Sugar Ant Ridge Bakery.
Sugar Ant Ridge Bakery, yeah.
I've actually got a message from Mum. She's a massive fan. During COVID, we were just down the road at Binalong Bay. I moved in with my parents.
Yeah.
And every day, Mum would she'd get a loaf of your bread.
Yep, that's awesome.
And she said just to pass on.
Pass
that on.
Not be able to pass back a loaf. We're going to see you later on.
Yeah, oh, mate, I'd be in the good books.
Throw it in the back of the car for you, for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Brilliant. So how do you make your bread here? It looks like it's a pretty authentic setup.
It's a pretty serious, authentic setup. Yeah, 1800s design oven.
Yep.
So it was built by a friend of mine in Orford, because I have no bricklaying skills at all.
Okay.
And then the dough takes about 3 days from start to finish, start to bake.
Okay.
Get our leaven sorted out. So that's the natural yeast rising up in a small amount of flour and we put with the mother to feed it up. And then from then on, we do the dough the next day and then let that prove overnight.
And so that's what gives that sort of sourdough flavour.
Flavour, yeah. The longer you leave it to prove, the more sour it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes people say the older the mother is, the more sour it is. That could be true, that might not be true.
Okay.
I'm not going to push that issue.
Is yours an old one?
It's only about 4 years old.
Okay.
And the bread's pretty sour.
Yeah.
You know,
pretty sour.
yeah.
Usually when it's sour, she's pretty sour. It's not really a good thing, but with this stuff, it's pretty sour.
It's a sour mother. She is indeed.
Can you run me through from woe to go?
Sure. So we've shaped the bread.
Shape the bread.
We usually weigh the bread, but for this sort of thing, we're not going to worry about weighing it.
Okay.
And then oven's at temperature.
Yep.
So give it a bit of a spray like that.
What's the oven temperature?
Oven temperature is about 250 on the floor.
Okay.
I don't know the actual ambient air temperature.
Yep.
But I know what temperature the bread will burn its bottom on.
Okay.
So
nice.
I sort of go for that, and we're using the same as 1800s tech. So Bit of semolina on top.
Yep.
Doesn't blow away.
Beautiful. I like to watch the wind in the shed.
Yeah.
So you're scoring it here.
Score it there. Then, and hopefully, all things correct, it'll bloom that way.
Okay.
So if you want to try and give it a bit of a nudge, head in the right direction.
Yep. Getting fancy.
Bit of fancy fun. We're not going to go in too far, otherwise we'll burn it at the moment. So let's get it there.
Beautiful. I tell you what, like, you talk about wheat, water, is there a bit of salt?
A little bit of salt.
A little bit of salt. So there's 3
salt.
ingredients. I don't know how 3 ingredients can make such a good smell, but
I know.
and just, yeah, the crispy noise, that's the best.
It's come up with a whole lot of love as well.
Ah,
you
look
know?
at that.
So I've got a few more to pull out, so I'll grab those out first.
Yep. So what, they've been in there about 40 minutes now?
About 40, 45, yeah?
Yeah. I had a wander of your gardens before.
Pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah, awful. Just terrible.
What a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Don't
drop that.
It'll be hot. It'll be hot.
Far out.
It'll be hot.
Precious.
Precious
Look at
cargo.
that. Do you reckon there'd be a spare one here for Mum?
I reckon there would be.
Yeah.
A bit longer than that one.
She'd be stoked.
Let's grab these few out. Sorry.
What? Sorry, I'm in the way.
I'm governed
I'm in
by
the
reach
way.
here. I'm governed by reach. Too brother. So
Is that what's this?
That's the hollow noise you want.
Hollow.
So
You want a
nice.
hollow noise? Yeah.
You hear the goodness bouncing back on the inside.
Jeez.
That's the one for your mum. So we'll leave
Beauty.
that aside. See, that's because it actually worked properly.
So what do you mean work?
As it bloomed the right direction.
It bloomed.
It pushed
There
the
you
right
go.
way.
Yeah,
You
okay,
got
cool. It does look
your
fantastic.
little tiger stripes down that side,
Yeah,
and then you got the.
nice. Yeah.
Nice and hollow. Nice and hollow.
She's going to be stoked.
We'll just.
One more. So these will all go. I mean, you're cooking 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
And so, what time do you have to get up?
3 in the morning.
3 in the morning, and you're in this open shed. In the winter, that must be quite a.
It used to be worse before we had the shed around the place.
Yeah, okay. You didn't have a shed around the place.
Not in the beginning, no.
It was just open.
It was just an oven, yeah.
Far
We
out.
had like a small marquee out here to keep us dry.
Lengths you'll go to.
Yeah.
Oh, man, no, it's amazing. Well, thank you very much for showing me the process.
That's
Josh.
all right. We'll have a,
Yeah.
have a cut and a look, will we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big one.
Oh, it's the best noise, isn't it? Do you get sick of that noise?
No,
Crunch.
no, I don't. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful bubbles.
Oh.
It's just still a bit early to cut.
Yeah.
But you guys aren't going to hang around for the next half an hour.
So you meant to let that rest.
Let it rest.
Yeah.
Let it rest. Let it cool right down, and then cut it.
Jeez.
It finishes. It's not exactly finished when
Yeah.
it's straight out.
Yeah.
Like a steak. You got to let it rest.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Josh. And
pleasure.
I'd love to take one for the road.
Sure. Here you go. Show you, bum. This is our new bags.
Yeah.
Still with the brown paper,
Nice.
with the compostable plastic.
Mum loves the brown bags.
I've made it too big.
Perfect fit. Oh, not quite.
There we go. There we go.
It's too big.
There we go.
Give it the old. Beautiful.
There you go.
Thanks, Josh.
Pleasure.
Awesome.
Absolute pleasure.
Much appreciated.
Thanks for coming.
I'll be back.
When I grew up, sourdough wasn't even a thing, and now it's absolutely everywhere, and it's good to see such a small operator doing it on a local basis. So the only place you can get it is around that local area, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And obviously, I'm not in that area, so I can't get it. So I've got some other sourdough here, which I'm gonna make a homemade dukkah to go on top of our sourdough with some avocado. So it's a nice breakfast sort of meal. All right, first thing we need to do is toast off those spices. My seeds and nuts is what we're gonna start with. So these are pepitas, they're pumpkin seeds. So whenever you get pumpkin seeds, you've got the seed casing on the outside. If you dry that and open it up, this is what's on the inside, the pepita, and it is quite nutty. And then I've got macadamias. This is going to be a macadamia dukkah. So about the same amount of macadamias. So we're going to cook these until the pepitas start to pop. So we started to get some colour on our macadamias, put that into our food processor, and then our spices will go in. So we've got whole cumin, whole fennel seeds, and ground coriander. So we'll pop those in, same sort of thing, just toast them until you can start to smell them until they're nice and fragrant, and some sesame seeds as well. And then we'll pop that into the food processor. We'll mix it up for the base of our dukkah. After adding my macadamias and my pepitas to the food processor, I gave it a little blitz just to break up the macadamias and put it back into the pan with the other spices. So we've got everything in there now. We've got our cumin, coriander, fennel seed, a little bit of smoked paprika at the end just to heat through, the pepitas and the macadamias, which we started with, and a pinch of salt. I'll turn the heat off. I'm just going to allow it to cool slightly, and then I'll continue to process it. You don't want to process it now while it's too hot. The heat and the oil that comes out of the macadamias, you'll end up with sort of a crunchy sort of peanut butter. So you want to allow that to cool a little bit so you've got some more control over the texture that you get from your dukkah when you're food processing. So while that cools, I'll start to get everything else ready. I've got to cut up my sourdough, toast that in a griddle pan, and get my avocado ready. My dukkah is made. Now you can, if you want to, put that back on the heat and keep toasting it. I don't like my dukkah to be too dark. I like it better, sort of blonde than sort of I was going to say blonde brunette, but just under, which is sort of what we refer to as blonde. But you can toast it and make it a little bit darker if you are someone who likes a darker dukkah. But always, this can go into an airtight container now, and if every time you use it, just pop it back in a dry pan again, just to bring it back to life. But as it is now is the best it's probably ever going to be. It's nice and fresh. It's just toasted. It's still nice and warm. So let's get it on top of our sourdough. So grab a couple of pieces of sourdough, my avocado, a dukkah loves olive oil, so we've got a good quality olive oil as well that we're going to use. I just want to cut my avocado in half. In half, take the pip out and then cut it in half again, so we've got quarters. Scoop that out. I'm going to add some fresh parsley and, like I said, some good quality olive oil to the dish as well. So we've got our quarters of avocado. Just pop them on top of our sourdough. Because avocado's got that nice amount of fat in it, it's going to carry the flavours that are in the dukkah really well. So all those spices and all those flavours that we've tried really hard to extract by toasting, the fat in the avocado and the oil is going to help carry that. So now we can sprinkle some of our macadamia dukkah on top. And that's why I think it's really good to use macadamias if you're making dukkah. So make a macadamia dukkah, because the macadamias are a bit bigger, they've got really good quality oils in there, and that oil helps carry the flavour of the dukkah. So all those spices that you want those flavours to be nice and robust, you want to actually taste the flavours of the spice when you're having it. having macadamias mixed in through there helps do that. But it also gives a great texture because they don't break down as much as all the other seeds and nuts do. You get a nice texture from your dukkah, which I absolutely love. So finish with some oil. Just to wet that dukkah a little bit. And then some parsley. Just gonna grab a little bit of parsley, chop that up. Sprinkle a little bit of parsley over the top. And that is a pretty good start to a day. So you've got all of your nuts and seeds and things like that, which are really healthy. They've got lots of great oils in them, especially the macadamias. All that flavour from those spices that we've toasted, a really good quality sourdough, which can take the fat and the oil and soak it up, and fresh avocado. So that's my macadamia dukkah. I think the best way to make dukkah is with macadamias, and when you've got good quality sourdough, dukkah, avocado on some sourdough, absolutely beautiful.